God, who gave animals self-motion beyond our understanding, is, without a doubt, able to implant other principles of motion in bodies, which we may understand as little. Some would readily grant this may be a spiritual one, yet a mechanical one might be shown. Did not I think it better to pass it by? Sir Isaac Newton. Greetings, mortals, and a capital day to you all. I am your humble host Simeon, and by whatever strange force that guides you, your momentum has led you into what some call the library of Gnosis. Isaac Newton, who was not only a pioneering physicist, but also deeply interested in alchemy and the mysteries of the natural world. He even wrote his own Latin translation of the Emerald Tablet of Hermes, a mysterious hermetic text said to contain the keys to the workings of both nature and the soul. One could imagine that this was a factor when he formulated one of his most famous inventions, his laws of motion. The first law of motion, often called the law of inertia, states that every object will remain at rest or continue moving in a straight line at a constant speed, unless acted upon by an external force. In other words, things tend to keep doing what they are already doing until something causes a change. But who said it only had to apply to physical bodies? So, to quote Newton's translation of the Emerald Tablet of Hermes, "'Tis true without lying, certain and most true. That which is below is like that which is above, and that which is above is like that which is below. To do the miracles of one only thing. And as all things have been and arose from one by the meditation of one, so all things have their birth from this one thing by adaptation. Tabula Smaragdina Hermetis, 1680. Newton's first law is often exclusively applied to physical bodies. But we are also bodies in the cosmos, and our human minds operate by the very same principles. Just like physical objects, our thoughts, words, and actions possess a kind of momentum. Once set in motion, they tend to continue along their current path. To any action, there is always an equal and opposite reaction. Sir Isaac Newton. Imagine being immersed in a dance, carried along by the rhythm of the music. Then, without warning, the music stops. You're left standing in silence. It's a jarring experience, disorienting, almost unnatural. The momentum evaporates abruptly, leaving you shocked. Yet, after a few moments, something shifts. The silence itself becomes its own rhythm, its own kind of momentum. Stillness has a gravity of its own, if you allow yourself to settle into it. Now consider watching a video. For instance, this one you are watching right now. Then there comes about this urge, like lightning from the heavens. That all too familiar itch arises. The urge to click away, to move on to something new. It's a small force, but persistent. It is a weak but powerful momentum pulling at your attention. But if you resist, if you sit with that feeling, just for a few moments, and allow that impulse to pass without acting on it, it passes, it goes away, it evaporates. And instead, you experience something else. Stillness, control, presence. By practicing this kind of conscious pause, this inner stubbornness, by becoming the force that interrupts your own inner motion. Why do you think it's called emotion? Unless you deliberately apply a new force, reflection, intention, discomfort, new experience, then these patterns persist. So by applying your own will, instead of letting your emotions be the stubborn mover, you reclaim agency. You move from being passively carried by your urges and habits to actively shaping them. In this way, you find a certain sense of calmness, of peace and stillness, which would have passed you by if you had acted upon those impulses in that moment. Our thoughts, behaviors, and emotional patterns develop their own kind of momentum. A mind caught in distraction tends to remain distracted. A person driven by impulse continues to act on impulse, unless something intervenes. But unlike a falling apple or a rolling stone, we have the capacity to become that external force ourselves. In a broader, more general way, if we consistently think a certain way, speak particular words, or act habitually, these patterns will persist, unless some external influence or conscious effort intervenes to change their course, carving a rut, so to speak. Understanding this parallel helps us realize how important it is to be aware of the forces we allow to influence our minds and behaviors. Without such awareness, we may remain trapped in mental inertia, continuing with thoughts or habits that no longer serve us, simply because they have inertia. Just as physical motion requires a force to change direction or speed, so too does the mind need intention, reflection, or new experiences to shift its trajectory and foster growth. And perhaps Newton, who straddled the line between science and mysticism, understood this better than most. He saw the universe not as a cold mechanism, but as a mirror, reflecting the same patterns in the heavens and in the soul. Inertia governs both body and mind, and understanding this parallel gives us a timeless insight. If we wish to change our condition, then we must learn to interrupt the motion within. Attention is action, and action is attention. If I have ever made any valuable discoveries, it has been owing more to patient attention than to any other talent. Sir Isaac Newton. And now, as the momentum draws nearer to the stillness of equilibrium, if you made it this far, then right. Emotions move, but I stay still, just for a moment. So I know you did. If you're learning something from the content I produce, then consider aiding me by becoming a member, either here on YouTube or on Patreon. Or give a one-time donation for the cause. And I will see you, yes, specifically you, in the next one, mortal. Fare thee well.